My name is Vasily. I'm from SCCW, the Silma Society for Child Welfare, member of the Green Habito Network, which works across Europe. Before official start, I would like to give you just a small introduction how everything started. So, I do hope you see my presentation. So, the Green Habito starts in 2020. I had myself, there was a big idea of United Nations to celebrate 75th anniversary and join this idea with Sustainable Development Goals. And in 2020, February, as I remember, we started our road by opening the conference with the representation of 40 countries, if I remember it correctly, and discussing the main ideas of role of global cooperation in building the future we want. We discussed and present the political statement and also made a big report for the United Nations, how the UN 75th anniversary was celebrated in Estonia, what kind of conclusions we came up, and what the civil society organizations and the cooperation with the different stakeholders would look like to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And we have a very special guest from the headquarters of the United Nations, Herman van Uttendorf, the ambassador, who was representing the Secretary General and presenting the future interesting trends, what the United Nations wants to do. And of course, they raised the voice of young people in decision-making process, especially on sustainability questions. We had a very interesting 4 panels where the different countries, Ukraine, United States, Africa, Asia, was represented. There was a big group of Nordic participants who was really active in supporting the SDG goals. And we then moved to Africa and Euro-Mediterranean region. So in September 2020, we gathered in Sousse for discussing their vision of the UN goals and connect those 2 different events together to have a joint opinion, which will be later on presented at the global event, which took place in Narva. It's very fun, it's very great city. By the way, we made the conference there, and we had views from Europe, Africa, America, and Asia, represented by the different institutions like Asia-Europe Foundation or Anna Lindh Foundation, Nordic Council, European Commission. Of course, some of you have been there. You are following us all the way, and I'm really happy about that. And then we moved. Then the crisis came up. As you know, at the time in 2020 became very tough. The war in Ukraine by Russian aggression has started moving the civil society to be more coherent, to be more sustainable, and have ability to act. And we discussed the issues of security, also digital security, and of course the climate issues, as it also has an impact. And we also, as I mentioned to you, included the young people as they are our future. And we came up to this year, 2023, again in Narva, our local city, supporting Ida-Virumaa citizens with international interesting themes and cooperation. We had a reflection on security and civil society cooperation. So we discussed Ukraine and Russian civil society, how they could contribute at their countries themselves to end the war. We discussed also digital cooperation and the climate change issues, sustainability and circular economy questions. And we also had a very big number of participants, representatives from civil society, government institutions, researchers, And that's for a moment now. We have fulfilled 4 interesting events, and this is the 5th event, which I'm really happy to open from our organization on behalf of our host. But I would like to give the floor to the main organizer and the moderator of this conference, Ambassador Hatim Atala. Hatim, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vasily, and welcome to you all. I know that some of you have had long and sometimes very tortuous travel, but we hope that you are all rested and ready to put forward your contribution to this important topic that we gather around today. Indeed, we do get together today for the Green Habito Conference 2023, and we will be discussing the theme of civil society ideas for the sustainable green future of Europe. As Vasily was saying, this conference is really the 5th event from a series of conferences and meetings which were organized as part of the effort to sensitize people and familiarize them with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we are pleased and honored to have the active support of our partners and sponsors, namely the National Foundation of Civil Society, represented here today by Sandra Paulus, International Coordination of the National Foundation of Civil Society. Also the Nordic Council, represented here by our dear friend Mr. Hoagland, who is the representative, who represents the, he's the director of the Nordic Council of Ministers Office in Estonia. The British Council, also represented here today by our dear friend Ursula Rusma. Good to see you again. And the city of Tallinn, and of course Green Habito Network, and of course all of this with our head organizer SSCW, represented today by Mrs. Irina Golikov, and of course Vasily Golikov. In the previous meetings, as also again, as Vasily was saying, we discussed a variety of issues going from youth, security, environment and sustainability, digitalization, peace, the future of the United Nations as an organization that reflects the aspirations and the vision of particularly young people. This time, in this conference, we will be covering mainly four themes, as you have seen them in the document that you have received for the conference: social transformation, climate change and environmental protection, civil society, government and business networks, particularly the circular economy and innovation, taking them to the next level of creativity, researching current consumption patterns and integrating the sustainable lifestyles. And we will hear different experiences from different countries on this to basically try to get some sort of best practices that we can all discuss and hopefully adopt. Then the role of civil society organizations in fighting for the green transition and sustainable development. I had the honor and the privilege of being part of this 5-year activity, and I'm very pleased to see youth getting involved in a variety of ways, which I take as a very encouraging omen about our future. You have come from a variety of countries. I think we have Norway, Finland, Belgium, Iceland, Denmark, Greece, Sweden, the Netherlands, and I hope I did not forget any other country. Estonia, of course. of course. As you, I believe, would all agree that our world is changing, and it is changing very fast. In this dynamic, youth have a central role to play to shape the new international order and ensure that it reflects its vision, its ambitions, and its expectations. One way to ensure that, to ensure this orientation, but also to ensure that youth voice is heard and heeded, is through the active involvement of civil society. As not only as a source of proposals and inspirations, but also as an active instrument to implement policies and act also as a watchdog to ensure that what is being put in place is the right tool and the best practice to achieve the intended goals. Sustainability is not a fashion. It must be a way of life, and I'm really happy to see that youth see it this way as well. It is also a difficult process which needs the participation of all stakeholders. Government as an actor to devise the global framework and the strategy to reach the overall objectives at the macro level. Then you have the business community, which needs to act as the instrument to put in place the operational approaches and economic models that go with the strategy to which it has contributed, of course. And third, civil society as the voice of the general population and the citizens to ensure that their views are taken on board in the global strategy and also as the guarantor that the policy is implemented successfully. The three need to act together, work together, and in unison. To discuss the various aspects of this important matter, we have gathered a large number of experts and hands-on actors who will guide us through the intricacies and the challenges we face and help us identify the best solutions to overcome them. So, without further delay, I call upon Mr. Campo Heinma, Secretary General of the Ministry of Environment of Estonia, to give his opening remarks.
Thank you very much, and good morning. I'm really honored to be here and standing in front of you to say some opening words and give you some brief introduction to the climate change and circular economy and other environmental issues we are challenging and tackling in Estonia. If I look at the situation where we are at the moment, we know that there is a war, and during the last year there was a discussion. Does this environment, the sustainability and everything is like must-have issue or something that is nice to have? But I understand now, and I hope everybody understands that it's not only a side. The environmental issue is not a side. As in the war, there is a huge impact to the environment and the climate. The Ukraine has estimated and calculated how much damage there been in the environment from the war. But we should understand that there is a direct impact and there is a non-direct impact. Something that we really realize later, and who will be most impacted is actually the people and the society. And And in general, as we see, the environment is really in the middle now, not in the side, something that we take care only when we have good times. But actually, as a humankind, we should take care of the environment to survive in the middle and even and the long term. So it's not something nice to have to tackle the environmental issues, but must have. So, and the civil society definitely plays a huge part in all the environmental issues, because we are the consumers, and we put the pressure to consume, to produce, and if you consume something, they will be produced. If you aim to use something that is unnecessary to use, like we are tackling the plastic pollution. This end of this week, during next week, there will be another international conference for tackling the plastic pollution and to go to the legally binding agreement. And in the Europe, we have already banned some products. So if we aim to use some product, they will be not produced anymore, and we can throw it out from the society. So the society plays in the role as being a consumer, but as well as being a part of the negotiations, to go and say the words when there is a new plan for some industrial activity or even renewable energy. If you are making a new wind park, there is an impact assessment. It's published, and it's very important that the civil society takes part and says their word, how they see how this wind park should be implemented. Should be implemented in this place or another place. So there is a different way how the civil society can play a part. And finally, we are those who are actually impacted together with the nature. So if we go through some slides as well, if you look at just some figures of Estonia, we see that actually the very big part of the majority is actually the services. But we usually take into account the industry and agriculture and say that most of the impact comes from there. But actually the services, they have impacts as well. At the moment we are sitting here in this room and there is climate that the ventilation is working. We are consuming energy at the moment, but it's part of the service sector, so we should take care of this as well. But in general, Estonia is a small country, but we are big in our hearts, so we can, even Estonians, we see that we can change the world. Next slide, please. In Estonia, we have national development strategy that takes is like a strategy that takes 5 pillars, 5 cornerstones, and one is the living environment that includes the nature and all the environmental issues. And we see that by 2050 Estonia will be a competitive climate neutral country with a knowledge-based society and economy and high quality and species-rich living environment, willing and able to reduce the adverse effects of climate change and make the best use of its positive aspects. It's nice words, but actually it's, as I started my intervention, it's a must-be. Without reaching this goal, we will not survive actually. Next slide, please. And if you go more deeply into the environment and climate issues, we also under development is environmental development plan, so-called KEVAD. In Estonia, it's KEVAD. In English, it means spring. It's this KEVAD comes from actually comes from the name of the strategy. It's like shortened, but it's really nice to have this is named as a spring. We know at the moment outside it's spring, everything's fresh, everything starts, and it's like a new start that we can prepare and and it includes different pillars as well. So let's move on. If you go to the climate change, we have actually decreased the greenhouse greenhouse emissions a lot because of where we came from. We came from the Soviet Union. It was really, how to say, very very dirty way how we produced everything. The environment is not in even in the site. It was something like when there is a really direct impact to the health of the human health. It was taken care, and some nature protection as well. But basically, there was just we have produced something, and everything the pollution just came out without any basically any treatment. So because of the starting point was like really dirty, and where we are now we have decreased the production of or emission of greenhouse gases a lot. But the most important still is the energy sector. We use one specific energy source, oil shale. It's basically Estonia is the main user of this specific stone. I will have one slide later to say how much we produce it. But we have had a transition actually from that as well. We are not producing energy so much from the oil shale. They as today, where there's a lot of sun, basically most of Estonian energy is produced by solar parks, but we still use it, and we need this oil shale for security reasons. And yeah, let's go to the next slide. We see that also the agriculture, waste, transport, they are producing greenhouse gases. And to actually achieve the climate neutrality in 2050, we need to change not only the energy sector, but agriculture, waste treatment, transportation. It's full of areas. Basically, everything has to change. Even the services sector, they have to change, and it's in society, how we live, how we consume, how we move, everything needs to change. So it's definitely a big change, but it's possible because this transition is just accelerating and accelerating. 10 years, 15 years, the solar panels was so expensive that only the very rich people could afford it. Now if you look at the roofs of the building, you see that a lot of private houses have their own solar panels, because the starting point is always so difficult, because the production and the consumption patterns is there, but it's accelerating. We did the same with the cars, with electric cars. They are quite expensive now, but 5-10 years they are not, because of the transition is just there in that moment that most of the cars produced is energy cars, and because of that, the amount of cars produced makes it more efficient to produce. The production prices will come down, and it means the final price will be cheaper. So it's the beginning is difficult, but if you survive the beginning, we can survive the longer term as well. Let's move. So some indicators as well. also covered the greenhouse gases. The second one is the circularity and circular material use rate. We know that the linear economy is still actually there in many areas, so that we extract the resources, we produce, we consume, and just throw away. So, but if we keep the materials in the circle and in the society, we can make less pressure for the raw materials, as well produce less pollution and the waste. And also the resource productivity is quite low in Estonia. This also comes from the oil shale, but also that we in Estonia we have we actually have, but we are not in that amount to excavate is the natural resources we have is limited. We have no crude oil, we have no gold, no silver, so we have only limestone, sand, gravel, oil shale. So it's part of that, but still it's possibility to increase it. In the climate issues, we have a national adaptation strategy until 2030, and there is 8 priorities. I will not go through everything, but basically it covers. One is that we are lowering the greenhouse gases. The second is that the climate change is definitely there. Even if you aim to produce any greenhouse gases, the effects will be there for many years still. So the adaptation is still needed. We go further, then we have low carbon strategy until 2050, and also we have a new government, and one of the priorities for this new government is so-called climate law that will define actually the main targets as a legally binding. At the moment, most of the climate targets are in different strategies, but those strategies is not legally binding instruments. So we will soon hopefully have the climate law where most of the targets will be put, and then they are actually really the legally binding. So let's move on. If you look at the material flow diagram that I mentioned, that we should keep the materials in the society as long as possible in the economy, but we are still in many areas quite linear, so that we are extracting the natural resources and importing the raw materials, and then we are producing or consuming, and most of them still goes as a waste to the incineration plant or the landfill, or the emission to air or water. So it's a huge task how to put the circular economy really work in the society, so that we are collecting. If you look at the solid waste, that we are really collecting it and make it possible to send back to the economy. And it's a huge part for the society, especially if you look at the municipal waste. It depends on every citizen how they are separating the waste. Do they put everything together as a mixed municipal waste, or they separate at home and sending it as quite clean material back to the economy? And oil shale, as I mentioned, most of the greenhouse gases come from energy sector, and mainly from oil shale, as well as waste. Most of the waste we produce in Estonia is linked to oil shale sector, But if you look at the trend of extracting the oil shale, it's decreasing. It used to be almost 20 million tons per year, but now we are even under 10 million tons per year. There was actually slight increase in 2025, but it was directly related to the energy security issues. First, the energy prices and as well as the accessibility to for the energy sources. We used once again quite a lot of energy produced from oil shale. But definitely there is a transition period, and it will still decrease. But in general, there will be 15, maybe 20 years still left for the oil shale industry, and there is a transition from direct energy production to product oil shale oil that is used as a ship's fuel. And also there is a transition to go more for chemical industry rather than energy sector and producing fuels. So and also there is some research to go to the chemical waste recycling as well. And in circular economy we have so-called white paper. It's not a legally binding paper. It's voluntary, but it puts together the main principles and the main priorities so that different stakeholders can go through and take into account when they are dealing with different issues. And they say that actually it's not really a science to go through circular economy. Actually, it's something to look back. But how we lived in 100 years ago, at least in Estonia, we say often that we should just look how we lived before when we didn't. We're not in the situation where we basically have unlimited resources. We had very limited resources. We had to use everything, and it was really broken. And we tried to fix it every time it was broken. So we just had to look back how we live, take it into account how we live today, and put them together. And also one issue that is really impacting the world and how we live, and actually basically most of the economy. We know that the financing is like a blood circle in the economy, and there is a huge transition in the situation that basically the financial institutions, banks, other creditors, they will not give you a loan anymore if you are investing it into non-green areas. Or even if you get the funding, the interest rates will be so high that it's not feasible to have this loan. And if you look at the graph that we've asked how the companies how they are thinking about the sustainability, and only half of them really think about it, and quarter of them basically say they haven't think about it yet. It seems how it's possible, but it's still possible. Next slide, please. And there is a bit in the European Union a new responsibility for many companies that they have to really start reporting how sustainable they are. And also, if you ask them how it will affect you, we see that only 17% says that is really affecting. But actually, the numbers are so low because directly the reporting goes for the big enterprises. But if you go through the value chain, if you're part of management, if you are selling your product to some big companies, they ask information from you. You have to be prepared to give them the information where this food came from, or where this textile came from, where this vegetable came from. So you actually have to go there as well, and we see that it's still not there for many companies. And also we have cooperation with the civil society. We have so-called Climate and Health Council, that is Minister of Climate. Also, we are working together with different stakeholders with the finance reporting, the climate law I mentioned, and also for the circular economy, we should take care that the circular economy is value-based. What it means value-based? We can produce something that is unnecessary for the society, but we are producing it very circular way. So the value-based circular economy is that we are producing and putting into the society only those products and services that really makes added value for us. Often it's that we are entertaining a new product that is really unnecessary for us, but it advertised and everybody wants it. But after 5 times we have used it, we understand that actually it was a silly thing. We put it somewhere. Yes, we can maybe recycle it. It's quite circular, but actually it wasn't needed from the beginning. So we should avoid those products and services that is really not necessary. And to some final remarks, there is a list of strategies, and we go to this next slide. I will not go through everything. There will be, I think, one slide. So, and to put everything together, we have different environmental management tools we can use daily basis as a civil society or as companies. We know that there is eco labels. If you go to the shop and buy a new product, we can look at if there is an eco label. If there is an eco label, it's still maybe not the most environmental friendly, but we know that it's better than some other products. Usually, different ingredients that is in the products is actually not necessary for us. Let's say if you use a shampoo, we don't need the odor there or the colorants. Without those ingredients, we still have the same effect. It washes our body or our hair, but they are also there, and usually they also impact the health. So if you go to the shop, you can make a decision as a consumer, and you can push the industry with using better products. So there is a different possibility for the society how to push the green transition and to be more sustainable. Because as it started, if there is no pressure from the consumption side, that will need not the production of services or products. So I think it's that's all. Maybe I used a bit more, but I hope it's okay. So I wish you a very fruitful next 2 days. I think today and tomorrow you have as well a program. So it definitely will be a nice one. And I hope you who are from abroad can enjoy our nice city, the old town, as a spring as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Heinma. Let's continue our traveling, and now we can hear about the same issue from the Nordic Council of Ministers' perspective. So I have the pleasure to call on my good friend Mr. Krista Hugman, the Director of the Nordic Council of Ministers Office in Estonia.
Thank you, Ambassador. Dear friends, first of all, I would like to thank Vasily and his magnificent team for the work they have done during many years. I sincerely hope that you will have the strength and interest and support to continue, because this has to be done. Still, we have to continue with this, because now this doesn't work. Okay. Okay, yes, it is working. I will be a little bit shorter, so, but I will start from 1956, but still try to make it short. Have you heard, anyone of you know the fabulous singer Doris Day? And have you heard the song Que Sera, Sera? An adorable song, launched in 1956. And in this song, Doris Day is singing about a girl who asks her mother about the future. And I was thinking about this yesterday evening when I was thinking about the future myself. And the girl is asking her mother about the future, and the mother answers, "Que sera, sera." Whatever will be. The future is not our to see, or something like that. And that was the situation in 1956. They didn't really know, you didn't know that much about the impact of the decisions that you made. But now I jump to 23 to make it short. Now, today, we have all the facts, not all the facts, but we have enough facts in order to change the direction that we are heading to this catastrophe. And we can change it today. We just have to do it, all of us. Very simple. And each and every one of us should be active. Otherwise, this will not change. It's as easy as that. And it's if I give you some concrete examples, there are these 3 R's: reduce your consumption, reuse whatever you have bought, and of course recycle. And then avoid plastics. It was also in the 50s, 60s, plastic was fantastic, like in Las Vegas. But plastic is not fantastic anymore. It's really bad. And we already, all of us, we have a lot of plastic in our bodies, because there's plastic in the food, there's plastic everywhere. And still there are people who buy water in plastic bottles, water from Italy or water from France that is transported to the north of Europe, where we have better water coming from the tap. How stupid can we be? And then we go to the toilet, and then we flush whatever we produce with drinking water. I mean, come on! The mankind is so stupid that it's really impossible. So what can you do? Of course, you have a voice and you have vote, and we have already in previous conferences discussed a lot about democracy. You have to be active, each and everyone. You should start with these 3 R's: be active, vote, and write your politicians all the time, because so many politicians are cowards. They don't dare to do the necessary decisions, because they they fear that they might lose support. But you have to put pressure on them, because the fact is that we anyway, most of us, are way too comfy with our lives. We are way too lazy in our lives. So we need to have restrictions and regulations. And those of you who pollute or distract, be it you as private persons or companies, you should pay for it, for everything negative you are doing. You should pay for it, of course. I mean, that's a part of our moral in other things. Why shouldn't it be when it comes to the future of this planet? Very easy. I don't know, I could actually, I could say that we in the Nordic countries, we are of course working a lot on this, and we are doing quite a good job, I would say, and with the aim of being the most sustainable region in the world. I don't know, we might be already, but anyway, we are not there. There's still so much to do, but we should. We have done, as you know, with the Nordic countries cooperate with each other a lot, and we have also a slogan that together we are stronger, and that is precisely we should do this together, because together we can change the future. I think I will stop here. So thanks for your attention, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you.